Episode commencing in 3, 2, 1. Episode initiated.
You're traveling through a drift dimension, a dimension not only of stats and dice, but of roleplay. A journey into a wondrous podcast whose boundaries are that of imagination. That's a signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the Cosmic Twilight Zone. This is your Sterling GM Patrick here, and joining me in Morality Tales and Twist Endings are my 5 black and white friends and your players. To my far left, there's something on the wing. Something. Why, it's Jabert jabbering away as Jamfram.
Oh, that's me.
Across the digital table from me, a creepy doll with lifeless eyes. It smiles, making believe as redacted.
Good evening.
To my right, it's not fair. He had time now to roll all the natural 20s. Now he makes his own time. It's Tyler talking as Praetor.
I'm unstoppable this season.
Praetor?
I call him I call him Praetor, but
like you're praying to the deer. Got it. To my immediate left, he has a normal face, but spoilers, everyone else looks like a monster. We have Drew dying to play Zilix Theld.
That's a feeling I get most days.
And across from him, she rolled a crit to send the enemy to the great cornfield in the sky. It's none other than Rebecca rolling as Asher and Sky.
I feel like I'm writing Tower of Terror. I wish I were writing Tower of Terror.
I just realized in your intro, I rhymed sky with sky.
Good job. Good job.
All right, that works, right? Hey guys, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
Hey.
So what's this is a pretty sweet planet you got here. Is this some homebrew? You make this one up all by yourself?
I had this idea, like I said, like a year ago, and I couldn't tell anyone. I couldn't even explain this to my wife, my confidant, because there was so much backstory I'd have to explain beforehand. But yeah, I came up with this idea to change Horizons of the Vast a little while ago, and it just fits so well with some of the cosmic crit mysteries and stories that I want to tell this season. So I've been hyping it up to you guys a little bit by saying this season's wow factor is going to go up by like 3,000% somewhere in there. But I forgot to mention, we talked about it last week. Drew and Miles have never really played Pathfinder before.
Everyone was oohing and ahhing, and Drew and I were like, no idea.
Yeah, it's hilarious because it's like the gap in Starfinder has had a real life effect on you. You guys are like, Galarion, what are you talking about? But yeah, your players are like, what is this planet?
Meanwhile, the two most experienced Pathfinder players made Pathfinder characters.
Well, I was like, Patrick, can I be a knight of old Galarian? And he's like, no.
Well, yeah, we should mention, you guys came up with those ideas. I did not coach you in any way, shape, or form. I don't think to go with that, but I think I did once. You're like, can I be just like a knight character? I was like, Yes, you can.
And this
perfectly
was
fine.
And this character for me has something I made a while ago, and they weren't a precog at the time, but it was a
precog because I don't think it existed.
I don't think they existed either. And I said, "Oh, Patrick, this would be a cool idea for a character." And Patrick was just like, "Hold on to that thought."
Yeah, I forget if you're talking about this for season 2 or 3, but maybe it was 3, and you're thinking about making Praetor a operative, and then 2 other people made operatives. I was like, no more. Guys, are you excited to get back into it and talk about our little bit of a cliffhanger last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are. Too bad, because this season on Cosmic Crit, we're doing last time ons once more, our little recaps. But like every season, we're doing them a little bit differently. I want to continue to do kind of little story recaps like our prior seasons, but doing it just a little different than what we've done before. My original idea, and if my actual idea fails, we might go back to this. My original idea is we all say something that happened in the previous episode in verse, like you have to rhyme with the person before you.
Oh, absolutely not.
So hard.
It does, doesn't it? It does.
No, the last time you made Tyler rhyme on this show, he almost quit.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That was the point.
That was a bitter episode. I forgot all about that. I'd scrubbed it from my brain, and I was a happier person for it.
So that was my original idea, and then I was like, everyone but the fans will hate that. So I've got another one, I had a backup last time on, and I'm going to do the recap myself, 100% from top to bottom. But you guys know me. My memory is a little foggy. I'm a little out there. So each of my recaps are going to have a couple things that are incorrect about them. And all you have to do in 3 guesses is get 2 of them corrected. You have to point out what's wrong and correct the error. And if you do that, you get a single episode reroll as a team that someone can take. But if you get none of them, then I get a reroll. If you get nothing correct.
Oh, boy.
That sounds right.
There are 2 things incorrect. Is that right?
You have to get 2 correct. There could be 3. There could be 4. There could be
The whole thing could be wrong.
I mean, right.
Yeah, I'm
in
writing a
fairness,
recap.
Patrick might make a lot of mistakes.
I was about to say, I'm writing a recap, and if you catch something that I did not in the recap, then you very well can get an extra bonus point. But all you need is 2. So if you get to 2 and 3 guesses, same rules apply. You can't guess more than once yourself. As a team,
It's complicated.
it's so complicated, but it's going to go by quickly because last time on Cosmic Crit, the crew of the Comp Int Star Settler starship, the Burning Dawn, gathered on the deck to start their shift. Jamp showed up first, followed by Asher and Sky, and soon an alarm in the engine room alerted 3 of the other crew members that there was something attacking the engine. Armed with weapons and armors, the 5 of you met a rift, a type of protean who wanted to eat engine parts, and you guys beat them in combat. And after the fight, you guys dropped out of drift travel. You all made it to your ultimate destination, the planet Galarion? ?
So, Patrick, was there supposed to be something not right in that?
Yeah, that all sounded right to me.
There's several things not right with it.
Patrick, you don't know how to do this. You don't know. You don't have the insight into our brains to know how to pick these things.
Well, you have, I would say, about 30 seconds to throw some guesses out here. I copy and pasted this into the chat, so you can look at what I'm saying too.
I think he wasn't a rift. I think it was some other sort of thing. But
I have written down Dragon Tail. It's a Protean Rifty. I don't know. I can't read my writing.
Is that your
That's
guess?
what I wrote down.
Yeah, it can be one of them.
Yeah, that sounds like a real thing.
It is not a rift, but a rifty. You are correct, Rebecca.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Nice.
teamwork.
Hey.
So at this point, you just need one more thing incorrect, and bingo bango, you've got a episode reroll.
I think the name of the ship we're on is wrong, but I actually don't know what the name of the ship is.
Yeah, I felt the same way, but I didn't write that down. So.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So do we have to
Oh,
make the
wait,
correction?
I did write it down. It's
Yeah.
Wilds of the Drift is what I wrote down.
Okay. Well, you've already guessed, so
It's
nothing.
the wilds of the drift, Patrick.
That is wildly incorrect. So that's a guess as well. But yeah, if you guys want, if Drew,
So
Tyler, or
wait.
Miles
So
want to guess.
let me get this straight. We have to not only say what was right, or what was wrong, but we also have to correct it.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's awful. I don't want to do that.
Well, Tyler
I'm
and
not
Drew,
going to.
looks like it's up to you. Your friends have maybe pointed the way. That is the ship named the Burning Dawn or something else.
It's the Burnished Dawn.
Drew Googled it. No
No,
points.
it's on my notes.
I need a screenshot of your notes right now. Oh, he's bringing out his camera. He's calling my bluff. Oh, Drew, if you took these notes, I think you should just get the reroll, right? You or Rebecca?
It took
We're
me
waiting for
it took me-
confirmation.
Took me so long because I was
Can I also get on a technicality that when we dropped out of the drift, we didn't arrive at the planet Galarion, but actually at a moon? We were on the other side of the moon, and then we had to actually travel through space to get to the planet Galarion.
We watched the planet rise.
Not
Can
one
I
that
push up my
not one that I
eyeglasses
wrote
with
down, but that's a good example of some rules lawyering I might allow in the future. The other ones that I wrote down were It technically wasn't attacking the engine; it was attacking the power core. And Drew wrote down a couple things.
It was not my most note-filled episode.
I'm just looking at your notes from previous episodes.
Fight!
It's over.
Right. So re-roll this episode. You got to use it or you lose it. The other thing is it didn't want to eat engine parts. It wanted to sleep in the engine, which is very different from eating the engine. Yeah. Just a quick reminder, we are doing as well book re-rolls this year again. And I was thinking of basically making them work the same, but allowing you guys to re-roll a natural one. But if you do, take a result worse, if that makes sense. So you can still roll
so sort of like confirming a critical fail sort of thing.
Yeah. So if you want to re-roll that one, you have to hit a critical hit then to change it to hit. Yeah. But yeah, besides that, you got a re-roll just for this episode. And let's get back into it, because indeed you all are back here on the bridge of the Burnished Dawn. And the ship's computer is telling you indeed that the lost planet of Galarion is beneath you guys, not this Waydana 4 that the moon giants had scanned many, many years ago. There's a scan of a partial ancient map that used to be blank as part of the gap, but now seems to show very similar coastlines and mountains of the planet. Some of the faded squiggly writing begins to take common letters. And you see locations like the Inner Sea, Five Kings Mountains, Verduran Forest, and like I said, this all seems impossible? ? I have in my notes. The gap wiped all memories of this planet. Maybe like a few names followed through generations that maybe were connected to Galarion, but every memory of this planet was wiped from the entirety of existence, the entire universe at the very least. And supposedly all this time it's just been sitting out here on the edge of the galaxy.
What about those of us who aren't from this universe?
Well, you think you're from another galaxy or?
Well, so from what me as a player has ascertained about the Greys is they are from elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. So you probably understand that the gap seems to be centered around the packed worlds and perhaps the loss of whatever that planet was. But yeah, now the information banks here of your computer seem to be kind of flooding with bits and bobs of pieces that are coming back. Ezran Shire, your colony advisor, says, well, that doesn't seem right. That's just plain odd, actually. The computer says this is a match for a planet just up until a few minutes ago it had no record of. No idea what it looked like. Is this Galarion? And is this all there is to it? It looks like any other planet I've seen. It's blue, it's green. What's all the fuss about? What are you guys?
I'd like to point out that not all planets are blue and green. It's actually pretty rare for there to be this lush sort of environment, Patrick. And also this commander or captain or whatever.
Sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Shire.
Yeah, Captain Shire. You take it back. This is a fancy planet.
Okay,
I'm gonna go live on it. I'm gonna go live on it now.
Bye. Oh, what are your characters' reactions? I guess we got your player reactions a little bit last week, but how do your characters take this odd news? Because the bridge is kind of chaos right now. People are like, what does that mean? Blah 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 blah.
We table talk for a second. Like, I'm trying to understand, like, how long ago was the gap? Like, are we talking like this is like us forgetting that the Roman Empire existed, or is it more
that's a great question.
Close to us than that?
The gap was the gap ended 323 years ago and was millennia long. It's probably at least thousands and thousands of years long, a time period where nobody remembers anything about Galarion. Nobody remembers anything about the planet. And in that time, the planet disappeared.
Okay, so, but minimum 350 years ago, like, so we're several generations past the gap at this point, right?
I mean,
nobody would like remember it themselves, but like,
Right.
I mean, there are very long-lived species.
I guess there
including
are elves and stuff.
elves.
Now, but,
Like, yeah,
but-
and
Bone sages, undead.
but
There
again,
are
the gap always
some-
confuses me. We just don't. Assuming someone lived that long, they would remember the time before the gap and the time after the gap, but none of the time of the gap.
they would remember nothing in that time, I think, related to anything having to do with Galarion. I don't know if it's like a full mind wipe, but yeah, people just came out of it. Yeah, I think it's kind of like memory loss, complete memory loss. So people did come out of the gap, just like living their lives. So it wasn't like society broke down at that point. They just didn't remember what was before.
I imagine somebody like, flying a freighter and being just like, I don't know how any of this works.
I feel like in a rare moment, Redacted would be very excited about just the possibilities of what's happening right now.
I mean, this is one of the biggest mysteries in the universe. It's
Well,
not the biggest.
Even for Redacted's, species and stuff, just the ability to make people forget something. I mean, again, from the many abduction stories and stuff, that is something that lines up with Redacted's, people's MO. I think that Redacted would be very, very curious and honestly, for the first time, really intensely interested in what's going on.
The Greys did the gap. That's the end of this season. You heard about Bush did 9/11? Greys did the gap.
I mean, Redacted would be curious if other Greys were involved. Absolutely.
Why don't you guys make me, while you're looking at the computer readouts here, either a physical science or computers or culture check as you're looking over these scans, the feed outs, the live scans of the planet as you're getting closer and closer.
You said which can we roll?
Physical science, culture, computers check to analyze data.
Oh, computers. That's a 21.
Okay, we got a good roll from Raider. Tyler, I'm just not used to it. I'm so not used to seeing these numbers on skill checks. And also a good dice roll here. You rolled an 18.
I rolled an 18. I know.
It looks.
I told you I'm unstoppable this season.
The season 5 is Revenge of Tyler.
Redacted. It seems like these live scans as you move in closer to planet, you're picking up no large settlements, no structures of any kind on the planet. So it's not picking up anything, city or modern construction scale wise. So it does look completely empty down below. And then I think as you're examining the maps, prey deer, and comparing them to the scans, they don't seem complete. The computer is saying it's like a 97% match, but it's definitely not 100%. This is an old map, but likely, it was made way before maybe satellites or computer technology. Maybe that accounts for it. But I mean, to the naked eye, you're looking at both and it looks 1-to-1. We talked a little bit about it off air. There are 9 total charter settlements that are in this first wave of colonization along these couple of large central land masses. And Ezrand Shire, as you guys are talking, says, well, it looks like we weren't as lucky as I thought we were. We just got a communique from some of the other settlement ships, the Compent Star Settlers. Looks like 5 of them have already shown up and laid claim to some of the spots themselves. We've at least managed to beat a few of the other ships here, but not by much. By the charter's guidelines, it looks like we got to give them about 200-mile wide berth for claiming purposes. So let me bring up the map here and we'll see what we still have to work with. And indeed, as I mentioned last week, the map we're working with is that of Havistan and Garund, for the folks that know Pathfinder. And a lot of places have already been claimed by some of the charters here, including Assyrion, what was kind of like the Egyptian lands of the Inner Sea, as well as the Mwangi Expanse, and a few in Avestin, a very similar kind of landmass, I guess comparable to Europe in this instance, where the far north has been claimed. I guess an area that would be closer to Spain has been claimed, Old Cheliax, and then kind of a central region around a very large lake. You guys talked a little bit about it before the show, but where would you like to have your charter, your settlement start?
I personally like the idea of being near, water that we can hopefully open some trade routes, be able to communicate with other settlements and things of that nature. So rivers, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Which would make
Luckily,
the River Kingdoms a good choice, I think.
River Kingdoms is where Kingmaker literally took place. So that is an option. Just so folks at home know maybe what you're turning down. There's places open where ancient Taldor used to be, Varisia. Yes, Ramadoom is still open if you want to have like a desert colony. But the River Kingdoms and to the north here is free. A couple of your nearest settlement allies or other charters are in the realm of the Mammoth Lords and like I said, around Lake and Carthen. As you're picking out some spots here, the Burnished Dawn is doing some more deep scans, and it shows that a massive low pressure system and maybe a day or so worth of rainstorms have recently swept through this part of Galarion. Ezrin Shire kind of taps his crutches against the computer monitor in front of you and says, well, this area looks like a great place for a new home, huh? I've correlated some of this survey data here, and we got a couple of great places for our initial settlement. Mind you, we can branch out from here and build some more down the line, but there are 3 right now that we can choose for our first. And the final choice is going to be your guys's. You seem to impress Mr. Quindar and Feldspar so much back on Absalom Station. You're the point team on the ground for now, folks. So until we can maybe organize a local election, you guys are making some of these big choices for Tyrell Holdings. There are 3 sites going on the map that he puts in front of you, this holographic map. He continues and says, here at the forest's edge, there's going to be a lot of timber, a lot of game, but maybe not a lot of easy access to minerals. Here along the rivers or lake's edge, you're going to have a lot of access to minerals and fish along the banks, but it's going to be far from the timber. And then over here in the mountain areas, you're going to have a lot of mineral deposits, but you could be short on other resources. So everyone is really itching to get started and get offloading. Where would you like our first city to be?
Sorry, did we decide on the River Kingdoms? Like,
I mean, no one said anything else about it, so I figured that's where you want to go.
So is that here? Is that where we are?
Nope,
Where the white is.
Yeah,
over
on the map.
Over the
Okay.
You have an alternative suggestion?
I'm just
No. I don't know this area. I was just trying to figure out where we
River
were.
Kingdoms Numeria means nothing to Drew and Miles.
I mean, it means little to me. I haven't spent any time in those
True.
areas.
Zilix looks at that and for some reason gets a little itch about Taldor being so close to the ocean and mountains, and as well as getting access to a river to do any kind of trade up to anyone else that might settle in the River Kingdoms.
Definitely a little colder up there. You're closer to the far north, but I guess for those of you who don't know, the kind of the inner sea area here in the middle of the map is kind of like the Mediterranean, I guess, closer in climate.
Well, that'd certainly be more comfortable for Zilix, but if he senses that no one seems to agree with him, he will back down pretty quickly.
Well, why don't you
I
guys
mean, I do think it would
put
be
it to a
kind of
vote?
nice to be near Absalom as well. It's kind of cute.
We don't
Patrick,
know.
as the Galarian is coming back into focus, is it possible that any old stories or whatever? I mean, I guess no one's told those stories for a long time, so no one would know those stories. But
I
are
think
there any like legends or something that might help us sort of guide us to an interesting area?
Yeah, I think what, One of my favorite books, by the way, is a book called Tagana. You guys, have you ever heard of Tagana by Guy Gavriel Kay? And the main conceit of that is a wizard like destroys this nation and makes everyone that lived in it forget the name of the nation and sent them like to the winds, basically made everyone leave and go to other nations. And only certain people could like, I guess when you try to say the name of the place to people outside of Tagana, it sounds like you're saying gobbledygook. Mm-hmm. Reminds me a little bit of the gap here. I think legends are the only thing that has persisted from the gap, because there's organizations like the Knights of Galarion, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe they just didn't know that's what they were, based on. That's those stories of chivalry perhaps have lasted, but yeah, the tales are definitely there were knights and there were kingdoms all over ancient homelands for these peoples. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the what are they called in Starfinder? The races of old Galarian, like elves and dwarves and things like that. They're not noble races. What are they called in the Starfinder?
Legacy?
I think are they legacy races?
They are legacy.
Legacy peoples. They all have like their own traditions and things like that of the ancient world. Some of those continued on, like the elves, on to Castrovel. And I'm sure the dwarves also got out into space at some point. But
if you want to try to roll season 1,
if you want to try to roll a culture check to see if there's any information that has trickled through, maybe to help you make a decision here, you can.
I'm sorry, can you run that past me again?
If anyone wants to roll culture to see if there's some bit of tradition you can remember that might guide your way.
Yeah, I'll do my level best, but I have a -1 to that. So,
Raider, I think you're very learned. You've studied many books. It looks like. As far as like a colony goes, it might be beneficial to try to be like in the middle of things. If that makes any sense. But legend-wise, there's not like a ton to guide your hand here.
Perhaps connecting that with, is it Zilix?
Yes.
Zilix's statement, you'll say, I would also support using the region Zilix has mentioned, its central location and access to resources that are in closer proximity would be of benefit to us growing early our settlement.
Wait, and what are you suggesting? What area?
Taldor.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, essentially we would be.
I would
kind of
like,
bingo. Yep. So we would have the Five Kings Mountains. We would have the Inner Sea access. There are several rivers there. We're in the middle. We're in the middle of the north-south kind of, but deep inland from like the major seas and oceans.
Well, yeah,
we're flanking another settlement with the northernmost settlement, so we get a bonus to attack them.
You can make that choice still if you want to be on the sea, or if you want to be near one of these mountains, these huge mountains, or in the middle of the Verduran forest. What would you like to do there?
Maybe a city could be like right here at like sort of the mouth of that river.
We may not be able to do that with it overlapping the other civilization.
No, anywhere really within
Patrick,
this
are you
area.
Just asking us for the biome we want to start in right now?
Yeah, so basically where you want the first city to be. This entire area is like the charters, like where you can grow out to and stuff. Mm-hmm. But based on where you pick and the site, I'm going to drill down and make another map after we're done for further adventures. So
yeah,
I will say, obviously, because this is not part of the actual AP, mechanically this will not have as much impact, so like don't fret a lot on the designs on this map, but thematically and story wise I'm sure it will have a lot of impact. If you decide you want to be, like I said,
Yeah,
in the desert as opposed to in like the river kingdoms or what have you.
Prey Deer being elven would vote for forest.
If you
forest seems like a good option for both industry and for survivability.
So
and you can make settlements after.
Are we now looking here?
Yeah,
Yes.
looks like the middle of Taldor and Doran.
Those
that
mountains
area.
might also provide a barrier if we,
Yeah,
feel
for
like we
attacks,
need
yeah.
some
I might
protection.
suggest us scooching up just a tad.
Like,
Yeah, so that we have like access to this series of rivers here that go into the lake, so that we have kind of both the northwest and the south kind of at our disposal.
yeah. Well, that's fine as well. But, if I'm hearing you guys right, actually like where this kind of dot is located in the forests would be where you want to start.
Works for me.
Sounds good.
I think Drew would say closer to the ocean, but but Zilix, you're probably more comfortable around trees.
Yeah, potential swamps. The only thing I was going to say, if you had picked the Varizia as your starting point, I'd be like, oh, well, you guys got to pick Sandpoint as your,
Yeah.
you got to pick the sea location just thematically. And I'd be like, oh, for some reason you get the inspiration to call this Point Sand or something.
Point Sand.
New Point.
Yeah, I mean, like Redacted considers all this extremely primitive, so like it doesn't matter.
Who cares? So now you pick that. I mean, all these will have different effects once we start building out the settlement hexes, which it's not going to be this episode, but in the future. So this is just some of the final steps to setting up your guys' charter, which we started back in episode 0. That hasn't happened yet. And the other sites, like I said, now the mountain and the seaside, you can expansion out to, and I'll make that map in the future. Right. Over the next few hours, the burnished dawn begins its controlled descent to the planet's surface, and you watch as thick layers of atmosphere roll by the upper echelons of clouds and things like that. You see emerald fields, vast mountains, and a huge ocean pass underneath before you come across this wide land mass that you travel over for better part of half hour. In this time, you guys can take a 10-minute rest, of course, and the ship's doctor / holy man, the Asharan Lyoshi, will see to your wounds, anyone that's got HP damage, so don't need to worry about that too much. But after a while, you can come back up to the bridge, and Ezran calls out, we're going to activate the landing protocol Alpha. And you watch as the ship starts to find its landing zone, a wide area amongst this great forest. And a mostly automated procedure begins where piece by piece, the ship itself kind of unloads the different cargo bays across a wide landing zone. And as this happens, the starship itself disassembles into kind of frameworks that are going to start the settlement into prefabricated buildings. The vessel's bridge is the only thing that's left after about 20 minutes or so of this process, and it turns into a single-use shuttlecraft during that process. So kind of like the saucer separation, but a lot boxier.
It reminds me of when you said that, I just thought new construction options, like it's a Command and Conquer MCB.
Oh yeah, you gotta get some more resources first. You gotta send some settlers out to go chop wood for a while. But yeah, this deck of the ship is going to serve as your guys' lodgings, at least for the first foreseeable future, after you touch down. Right, and indeed, there's a flurry of activity as everyone begins to offload supplies and things like that, and you can take in your landing site. A majestic line of verdant trees stretching around you, stretching east to west, and in the west, huge mountains tower in the distance, and I don't know if you'd be able to see the sea from here, but perhaps the river cutting through the giant forest. as you guys are putting the ship down and stepping onto terra firma for the first time in months, maybe years for some of your characters, anybody have anything they want to say to mark the occasion?
Tell the ship she was a good dog before I put her down. And then I cried.
Put her down?
I said, Papa, don't make me put Old Yeller down. That was the name of the ship, Old Yeller.
Are you destroying the computer's AI? You're like, you've done everything you needed to do.
That's right. You brought us here safely, and now you got bit by a coyote or something. It's been a long time.
Season 4,
Anyway,
we gave sentience to an AI, and season 5 we Old Yeller one down to size.
taking it with us.
I think Jamfram steps out into the is it fresh air?
Oh yeah,
freshest air.
These trees have been dewy,
pine scenting for a long time.
Oh, it smells great. I mean, it smells heavenly.
Oh man,
nothing you've ever smelled before.
I take a big deep breath, and I think this might be, we might be able to call this place Homes pretty soon.
You guys can all unload. Is there anything you want to do first while setting up your new home here?
I'll create a perimeter and keep guard.
I think Asher would take some time to take in the beauty of their surroundings and perhaps perform a ritual dance to bless this new land that we are now colonizing.
In front of other folks, or just like a private affair? Okay, we're just right in the middle of, right underneath the shuttle.
Not that kind of a dance. Come on.
I didn't know if people were allowed to see this, or you have to snap someone's neck if they sneak a peek at the forbidden dance.
No
one has seen my forbidden dance.
How dare you? How dare you? What about Redacted? Do you do anything in particular when you get off the ship?
I think Redacted is most likely going to expand the exploration buggy.
Bloop, 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 bloop.
And kind of
cruise
around.
It's got to work like a transformer, right?
Right. It has to.
Yeah.
We're going to get sued by Hasbro if we use that sound effect, though.
Blip, 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 blip. I don't think that's what the Transformers sound like. Blip, 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 blip. It sounds like someone.
Now I just want to dub over Transformers with Patrick's sound effects.
The resemblance is uncanny.
Right. As you're cruising, you're dancing, you're setting a perimeter here. There's some rumbling. Before you all,
too?
There is a sound coming from all over the camp as beneath your feet, a huge bug pops its head out of the dirt and click-clacks its large mandibles before burrowing back down.
Oh no, the swarm got here first.
And then another half dozen or so of these things emerge from the ground, and the crew's human botanist on the other side of camp calls out, "They're attacking us! Everyone run and save yourself!" Just going to take us to a fun little new map here. Yep. And just for fun, I'm going to open up the initiative turn order and ask for you guys to roll initiative, please. Oh,
Can't find my character on the map.
There's so many. Yeah, so you got a lot of NPCs here and a lot of bad guys too. Here's the little things that pop out of the ground. Here's their art.
Gross.
Those look like, they kind of remind me of the Rust.
Oh gosh,
Rust monster. Yeah, they don't really have clackers. I don't know why I explain that. They have long claws and look like little gross tendrils. So maybe they're clacking their claws as they come up for air.
I can't find my icon.
I've got you in the vehicle in your buggy.
Oh, okay. There we are. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, feel free to.
Oh no.
Right.
Starting this campaign off right.
Natural one. Hey, you've got an episode reroll. One person does. You can use it. You can give Redacted the chance to come back instead if you'd like.
Nah, we're good.
Okay, well, I'm just saying it doesn't happen. Doesn't carry over. So
make sure to use it.
Someone should.
I mean, I don't think we should use it on initiative checks.
All right, well, let's see what happens here when I roll into the initiative turn order. Like this. Make this a public roll. You guys can see that's pretty good. But first up, perhaps because you set watch, is Jamfram the Mighty.
Oh, right.
Jabert.
Let's see. Okay, so the colonists are
Fleeing.
behind us. Okay, good.
Yeah. Some ran away.
I say, step back, Veach Veach. Exactly. And I will, let's see. I mean, I kind of want to
Got a couple off to the side here, probably within range, right?
yeah, I kind of want to just hold the line here and ready in action.
Okay.
And I'll stand in front of my allies and also in front of my compatriots and fellow colonists, and I'll say, stand back! I'll handle this. And I raise my sword high. I will strike them down if they come near me.
Well, I should say before you take any move action, if you do want to just ready, anyone can also take a move action to try and inspire or intimidate some of the colonists around you to take action as well. They some of them have pistols and things like that. So right now, most of them are cowering behind some crates.
That's a good idea. That's a better idea. I'll say, if you want this land, you must defend it. Don't forget what I said before. Don't stand there running away and things.
That'd be really cool if you could help out for once.
So I did roll a 4, but there's something very wrong with roll 20 right now. Because it's just not adding bonuses.
You don't have just a +1?
No, I have a +3. It's not adding any miscellaneous bonuses, which is frustrating.
Okay. So. Well, I will say that it's still not enough, as they're like, what are you talking about? You guys have much better weapons and armor than us. I don't know who's saying that. I got the Veach in response to it, like, no, you kill them. I don't want to.
Okay. Understood. And I ready in action.
And Pradier is next, Tyler. You're right behind Jamfram.
Can anybody try to intimidate these fools? Or is it just...
Oh, yeah, no. On your turn, if you want to take a move action, it's diplomacy or intimidate. Either one's fine.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me just... Oh, move action, huh? That's unfortunate.
Is it?
Yeah, because I also have a spell I want to cast.
Well, it's usually a standard action, though, right?
Yeah, but its range is close. So I don't know if this one... That's only 25 feet. And I think this one's 30 feet away. But that's okay. I will spend a move action to try and... Which one's better? Oh, nope. Intimidate's better. So I'm going to try to intimidate them into action.
Okay.
And boy, Patrick.
What?
I'd love to roll a dice for you, but I don't think I will.
Okay.
I think I'm just going to take a 13 result and add 7 to it to make a 20.
Where's the 13 coming from? Seems like you're pulling that out of thin air.
Yeah, this is kind of one of those precog abilities.
Well, why don't you share it with the class, Tyler?
So I get a number of paradoxes every day, and I roll a certain number of D20 at the start of every day. And I just, whatever the results those are, they're just banked. And then I can use those banked rolls in place of certain other things. At level 1, and then at level 1, I can use them instead of an ability score check or a caster level check. Or more importantly, I can use it in place of a D20 roll that is associated with my Anchor's Focal Paradox.
Oh, and that is
intimidate? And my Anchor's Focal Paradox is both diplomacy. I can't remember if it's bluff or intimidate, or diplomacy and intimidate.
When did you roll these dice? It looks like you're looking at a piece of paper in front of you.
Yeah, I wrote down last week. It's the same day. It's the same day in game. So I rolled them last week, and I wrote them down. It was 13, 3, and 10. So I could choose either one of any of those. And because my anchor is memory echoes, my focal paradox is diplomacy and intimidate. That's what it is.
Just looking back through the chat, and it looks like you rolled 3d20 at one point.
Yeah.
And the results were very close, maybe a little bit better and worse. 10, 11, and 12. Were those the dice rolls?
Yes, they were, except I used the 11 and once per day, when I use one of my paradoxes, especially if it is in regards to my anchor, I get to immediately re-roll a paradox and add it. So I used the 11 and I re-rolled it.
Okay. All right. I believe you. I just need to. We all need to work through paradox and pre-cards.
Paradox is a hot mess. Anyway, so the result of the roll would be a 19.
Okay. Well, that is a success on. Wait, which were you doing? Diplomacy or intimidate?
Intimidate.
That is a success. You've got some NPCs around you. Who do you want to call out to try and help you out?
Let's call out to Lydia and Kells, and I don't know who Stamp Penital is, but Stamp.
I was about to say, I need to look at all these people I've put on the map. I don't see a Lydia. So.
Lydia.
Oh, yes. I guess that's Melidia. Right. Well, we'll just pick one of those out. If you're pointing out for her to take a shot, she musters up some gumption here, indeed, to pull a pistol out and take a shot. Would you like to roll a d20 for this attack? She's got a laser pistol.
Oh boy, sure. Hey, you know what? I take it back.
What'd you get?
An 8.
Melidia scores a hit.
Oh!
She says, "These things won't take our land when we've just landed." She's an engineer for the ship, and yeah, I think even with a little bit of a negative here from a range increment, do you want to just have her shoot the one that's closest here?
Yes.
Okay, roll me a d4. Guess these aren't laser pistols; these are just like
2.
Okay, so yeah, this one, a bullet rips through its carapace, takes a couple points of damage. What would you like to do with your standard action, Tyler?
I'm not in range, so I don't really want to move.
Pull out one of your many weapons.
I have no weapon.
Oh no!
Yeah. Listen, I have no armor, no weapons. I'm just an elf in some clothes.
It is just a move action, so I guess you can use your standard to do it again. I don't think there's anything. There's a ton of settlers here if you want to try to get another one.
Sure. I'll actually roll intimidate this time and try to get another one. 21.
Another success. Yeah. Who do you want to pick now?
Right next to Melidia is Gavin, who looks. Oh boy.
He's a dwarf. Gavin Neldener.
Yeah.
He's the one of the many electricians you've brought with you. He's like, "Oh, what's up? You got me. You need me to take a shot while I get right out." Pulls out a sawed-off shotgun. Oh, it's another hit.
Yay!
16 on the dice. Roll another d4 for me. Oh, they're helping out, guys. They're helping. So both him and Melidia. This one down here to the far, I guess to your left, if you're looking at things, but on the map on the right, to the east is Bloodied.
That's my turn.
Asher and Sky is next.
All right. Yeah, Asher is going to get an entropy point now, and they are going to charge at the one that is bloodied and take a strike and expend one of their 2 entropy points in doing so.
You were in the middle of a dance when this happened. Are you still just dancing?
Yes, that's how I fight. Yes.
Oh no!
That's a natural 20.
Oh my goodness gracious! Well, what a! It's already been softened up for you. Let's start off by calling out a critter band or thanking our Patreon subscribers for helping out. Do we have a potential new flanking buddies? 10 or up? No,
first shout out of the season.
This is the first crit, so first shout out once again going to
exciting
from Rebecca to, let's say, our good friend Max. Max on a Patreon. Thank you so much. If you want a personalized shout out in this season, join the Patreon at $10 or more per month, and you can write in something for us to say. That's a ton of damage. It had 3 hit points left, so that one is dead. Woo! This little bug creature. And I imagine that is the end of your turn as well.
Yes.
Excellent. So 1 down. There are 5 more. 5
You're
more.
right.
Did I think I miscounted. Hold on. Copy.
Yeah, 5 more.
Paste. There we go. 7. There's 7.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, they're multiplying. One just pops out of the ground.
Patrick's just adding enemies. He's padding the runtime already.
It's Galarion. There's 7,
Seems
not
like it.
6 of these things. Let me double check. I meant to add 1 to what was in the AP. I forget if there's 6 or 7 in the, or 5 or 6 in the AP. But while I do that math, what did I roll for initiative? I forgot where I've rolled them. They're actually supposed to go before Asher. Asher, you only rolled a 7. And for that, they shall charge on up to you. One's definitely going. At least one's going for jam from. Move a couple in. Jam from. A couple of these guys are going to have to double move, I believe, to get in range of you. Right? Yeah, because they don't have that much space. Actually, this one's going to move. They can double move. It's like here. It's going to surround the mighty knight here. But the first thing, the only one that's in front of Jamfron can do is it is going to come up to you. And
does my ready action trigger?
I guess any of these 3 you can make a strike at, because there's 3 of them that kind of move to surround you. Make your attack. I forgot all about that.
Oh, right. And if one of them is moving through a threatened space, I'll make a.
I think at least 1. So
Okay, let's see. So then I'll just the first one. So let's say that was the first one that came up to me.
Yeah,
one who's directly in front of me. I attack with my sword. No, I get a 10
against KAC.
Against a KAC.
Yeah. What are you feeling there? Feeling
That's
good?
probably very low.
Just saying, you got that episode reroll.
You got that episode reroll, guys. Do you mind?
Go for it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I don't care.
We're gonna use that 6 damage and take it. Another one of these downed.
Yeah.
So go ahead and make an attack of opportunity against. Yeah, I guess that one moved past.
This one's trying to get past Vich. To Vich.
Yeah.
So look out, Vich.
Yeah. Another hit. Another one down. Now you see why there are 7 of these things.
That's why there's 7. Oh, did I say 7? I meant 9.
Let me just control V real quick a few more times here. And no, this one that does reach you, I think this one can make a single standard action. And I'm just going to, like I do with all my monsters, try to use its special abilities before we get out of combat too quick. You see as it kind of goes... And in an adjacent square to you, it looks like it vomits up something, like a huge fleshy sack.
I don't like that.
There look to be little filaments, like little tendrils that whip out from this thing that still seems to be connected to its mouth. And as it does, I need you to make me a reflex save, Jabert.
Okay.
The one that you killed was going to do it to you and Pradier, but now I can only do it to you.
A 12.
That's pretty good. That is enough to save from these little hooks digging into your legs and trying to kind of grapple at you.
Ooh.
So no damage there. The one that has moved up to Zilix, I don't think can attack. And one of them is going to try and attack an Asher and Sky as it comes up. And it's just going to make its claw attack. 14 on the dice. Your KAC, Rebecca, is...
It is 15 right now because of entropy points.
Hey, I've scored a hit. As Asher it's clawed as she's taken out another one of these creatures for 4 points of slashing damage.
She's still up?
Probably. That is my turn. Drew, we're on to you.
All right, from Zilix's arm, you see sort of a ripple, almost like a ripple of pixels that sort of extend out, and you see in Zilix's hand a sword form, and he is going to use that sword to hit this thing in front of him.
Hey. 16 total, 14 on the dice. That is a hit. And looks like max damage here. Oh boy, that's a lot of damage, folks. 8 points?
Yes.
As previously discussed. That's why there's 7 of these things. But there's only 3 left. Is that your full turn?
That's it.
Takes us to Miles. You could have been first if you took that reroll for yourself, but you're at the bottom of the initiative turn order with Redacted.
So Redacted is in the car.
Vroom.
That sweet Vista Cruiser. So there is one straggler from the folks surrounding Asher and Sky. So I feel like the only choice is to put the pedal to the metal and ram that particular baddie.
You can ram or you can run over, because this is at least 2 sizes smaller. The difference is ram.
What is the difference?
Ram is just save or suck. Basically, they roll a reflex, and if they make it, they just jump out of the way, take no damage. Right. Run over.
I was going to make a joke that Ram is owned by Dodge, and rollover is usually.
Shut up.
It's run over, not rollover.
Oh, right.
Run over, they do get a reflex save as well, but they only take half damage if they succeed. So, like, they're definitely taking damage.
Yeah. So let's do run over.
Rollover is a Ford Explorer thing. That's a joke from 1995, everybody.
Or like a Ford Bronco, but yeah.
Both of these
Worth
require a piloting check. You did describe yourself as tooling around in the buggy before combat started. So this is not starting from 0. This is like you're moving beforehand. Make me that pilot check. It's DC 13. What'd you get?
11.
Book reroll, baby.
Let me double check here. So this counts.
Don't hit us.
No, I don't think it.
I mean, did I use my book reroll last time?
Last book.
I'm really bad at using my rerolls sometimes. They always come in clutch, but
actually, no. You must succeed at a piloting check. It's 10 plus your vehicle's item level. So I think this is actually only DC 11. This time.
Okay.
If you're doing it from a dead stop, that takes it to DC 16. So if you're not moving around. So that is enough. And the reflex save I have to make run over is, do you have your vehicle up in front of you? Any of the stats? Because it's got a DC associated with it. I need the.
What do you need?
RAM DC or collision DC?
DC 10.
Okay, roll that. There's a chance. I rolled a 7 and the reflex. Yes, they are taking full damage from a run over. As you can move up to double your normal speed.
And so I'm thinking I'm assuming I'm looking at that right, because it says attack, collision, and a DC 10 in parentheses. Do I need to do? Okay.
I think with your driving gloves, it's actually a DC 11, but.
Oh, right.
I haven't rolled that either.
I had plus 2, I think.
Okay, well then it's a lot higher, but that is what's your run over, your collision damage?
That is, double check, 4d4.
Okay, I believe this is equal to that.
11.
Okay. Yeah, well, that one's very dead. I guess I should probably mention that. Even if it saved, I think. Oh, no, it would have been alive if he had saved. So, and do you want to move like just the other side of the field here?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Redacted would kind of drift a little bit, make a cool little like swerve. So he's like facing the battlefield, or so Redacted's facing the battlefield, rather. Also in the dopest 70s style Vista Cruiser you've ever seen.
I mean, this one is just.
I think we have to emphasize how cool that Vista Cruiser is.
You're absolutely squishing this thing's guts out. It spits up its stomach sack, but not voluntarily.
So maybe it hydroplanes a little bit, gives you that big spray from the tires.
No.
Ew, I'm standing right
Asher
here.
and Sky covered in guts and mud.
splash zone.
You're in the splash zone.
Yeah, I was about to say, it rained earlier in the day, so there's just nothing but mud piles everywhere. Okay, there are 2 of these bugs left as we go to turn 2. Jamfram, one of them is on you.
You will never be able to convince me that Redacted is not somebody who went to my high school. Just mudding on the weekends
In the cruiser.
conspiracy theorying on the weekdays, on the weeknights, on the AIM chats. And so,
Hey man, you know what? I've seen lights in the sky at night.
He's a
Them's
freak.
was me.
Freak in the streets and a freak also in his day-to-day life. He's just a freak everywhere.
I'm gonna make 2 attacks against this thing right here.
Oh goodness gracious! You figured out that maybe it was some of the first enemies in the AP have a low AC, and you're feeling good. Yeah, you don't need 2 attacks. One's enough. It's dead.
What will do? I guess. Can I make a move action in that case?
Should have doubled the number of bugs there were. Yeah, you can.
I'll say. Let's see who's back here. Lishu.
Yeah, it's a hard one. It's Lyshoiu. Lyshoiu.
Unite.
Osharan.
Let's show you. Use your mighty. What's that you have there? 1d4 pistol and assist our friend.
I think he telekinetically tries to throw something at the bug, like, I will do it for you.
All right,
Yes.
I'm gonna.
Doot.
Nope. That's a.
I think my god might say that's not cool.
Yeah, it's a-
Jam
So it's a
Sorry.
9 total. So
Oh, not enough. Pray dear, back to you, Tyler.
I'm going to move a little bit, and I need you to make a will save.
Me?
Yeah, DC 14.
Buggy friend? Oh, well, man, maybe it can. What spell are you casting?
Oh, dang it. I didn't roll very high. Oh, I'll still describe it. Prettier psychically projects images of pain and suffering into the creature's mind
No.
and does 2 points of damage.
Oh, well, no, I don't need a description. I need to know the actual spell. Silly.
Oh, sorry. It's Injury Echo. Here, I'll roll it for you.
Injury Echo.
And we'll choose, I forgot I need to choose a type of damage. Let's do bludgeoning.
Cool and stuff, because so much of your stuff doesn't perhaps work against these little buggies. Injury Echo does, I'm pretty sure, because it's not mental at all. It's just, you're actually causing wounds to show up.
Let me take a look.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. It is it's like it's taken a future or past wound. It just shows up like maybe like Shou in another time frame actually hit it with the rock, and that wound shows up. Okay, well, so it's taken a little bit of damage as we go on to, I think technically it's turn because I was supposed to go before Asher and Sky. And I want to be part of the crit club, Rebecca. You joined it very early on. Unfairly, I might add. So I'm going to roll 2 attacks against you. And these are just straight D20 rolls. So let's roll high. Yeah. All right. A failure and just a success, a 16 total.
My KAC is 15 right now, so yeah.
Just a straight one. Another 3 points of damage as this one is going up to claw at you. You get to come right back at it, though. What would you like to do on your turn?
Asher is going to not fly up in the sky. I wish I could fly.
Different season, Rebecca. You're
they're
too
going
off.
to jump and twist and turn in the air and bring their ribbon down on the vile creature in front of them and try to swat that bug.
Yeah, this bug sold timeshares. That's how evil this thing is. So do not feel bad about absolutely crushing it.
21 to hit.
What are you rolling here?
With
17?
With its dying breath, it goes, "It's a good deal, I promise."
That's 7 damage.
How do you get?
give you 75% off the maintenance package.
How you rolling 7 damage here? You rolled a 1, and then there's a +2 and a +4.
Yeah, so the +4 is from boosting it with an EP. So I get a 1d4, and I just happen to roll a 4 on that, in addition to my 1d3 that is normal damage.
Are you sure? Are you sure the macro is rolling it as a? Try it again.
I have it in the Solarian crystal thing, so it's not showing that it's rolling it, but that +4 is the 1d4.
Gotcha. I'll believe you for now. If you roll it again next time, I won't believe you. This one's dead, by the way, and we're out of combat.
Hey.
Right.
Yeah, these are these are little mole beetles that you dealt with. And as you move up, does anybody want to make a life science check, looking over the guts and maybe the bifurcated bits and pieces of these, I guess, dog-sized bugs? Does anybody have life science?
Oh, I rolled physical science instead of life
Yeah,
science.
I mean,
my
I'll
physical
life
science and life science are the same bonus. So
So you're also trained. Oh boy!
Wow.
You're not going to be redacted.
thanks, Miles.
Redacted has seen some cavities that are just begging to be searched.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're shoveling bits and pieces of this thing out of your
Couldn't
tire
be
wells.
happier.
You've got lots of samples here. Indeed, a good about just looking at these things. These are, similar size to giant burrowing bugs elsewhere in the universe. So you've maybe never seen these exact kind before, but you're pretty sure, looking at its sensors, its head, this thing probably was driven into a frenzy just by all the commotion of putting down the comp int settler ship, by the frequencies of these habitats hitting the ground. So once you guys get a proper landing pad in place, these creatures shouldn't be a problem, at least not and all come out and attack at once kind of thing.
Well, they weren't really a problem now.
All right, well, I'll bring 12 next time, Drew. Way to go. Next time you fight them, mark my words, there's 12.
Well, Asher and Sky are going to get away from the bug guts and take a rest. Can I take a rest?
10 minute? Yeah, you're, I think, the only one that took a little bit of damage. And you almost got run over by a space Vista cruiser as well.
Yeah, you can see that Sky is pulsing yellow. It's very agitated right now. Trying to calm down. Hopefully a 10-minute rest will help.
Sky's giving can we get a shower vibe right now? Can we take a bath? Right, you guys can take a rest. And, the first day here, you've only got a couple more hours maybe left of good sunlight. But after a while, I mean, you've been up for more than your full shift by the time you get to sit down and maybe have a meal with Ezran Shire around a small campfire site he's thrown together with some help of some other colonists. There's a pot of boiling stewed ingredients set off to the flames, and the colonist Namil Tana, the expedition sanitation worker, a stout and quiet Lashunta, helps in pouring you all a metal dish full of stew. And Ezran sets down to business as you guys chow down. He says, guys, this was a good first day, Tyrell Holdings employees. We really knocked out about 3 things on my list of 2,981 things that we needed to do in the first month or so. But if you don't mind, I'm going to knock off a couple more as we dine. You mind if I chat you all up and have a quick powwow?
Very much
yes,
so.
Ezrin, come closer. Sit and stay a while and tell us stuff.
Oh yeah, he throws his crutches down and grabs a bowl while he's got like a data pad balanced on one knee, and it's like, yeah, no, you guys took out those mobiles pretty well, so thank you so much. But well, our patrons at Tyrell have set up this charter to focus on expansion, and that means getting out there and creating new settlements and really making a foothold for a larger colony here, maybe for future pilgrims once they find out about this place. But obviously we didn't know what this place was before we got here, so I mean, Absalom Station is like more than a month away. If you all want to switch the focus, there are bylaws in our charter that would allow us to do so under exigent circumstances. He's doing air quotes when he says that. So yeah, that being said, if you guys want to change what our direction is here at first, you have the power to do so. If you want to focus in on the city, we can do that. If you want to send people out and start exploring as well as yourselves, we can do that. If you want to fast track a factory or a research center, I mean, honestly, my brain is kind of fried after the last 24 hours, so I will leave it up to you all. Any ideas, any plans? What do you want to do?
I see this as our opportunity to create a peaceful people away from a lot of the strife that we may have come from. I'd like for us to focus on our community first and build a strong set of relationships within this community that we're beginning, and ensure peace, and that we can work together. I volunteer to lead the people in community building activities such as drum circles.
Oh, okay. Well, drum circles are certainly something we can put focus on. What you're describing, Rebecca, is one of the 5 trait scores of a charter called Accord. And it's a sense of togetherness possessed by the citizens of your charter, and it kind of functions also as the charter's infrastructure. So if you build parks and, fountains and other things like that, Accord goes up.
Just call me Leslie Nope.
Oh man, this season of Cosmic Crit took a weird turn when it became an office comedy. Redacted as our Ron Swanson. And anybody else? Any other suggestions? There's 4 other traits in charter development, and maybe you guys just naturally want to do one or the other as your characters.
Zilix uncharacteristically pushes infrastructure. We need infrastructure, lads. We need to build. We need to make. We need to make. We need to sell.
Well, it sounded like you started going with Accord, but I think you're ending up in the economy situation where you're talking about business dealings of the charter, and indeed creating, buying, and selling things.
No better way to build a community than to build something together that we can all profit from.
Making paper, getting paid, mad money. Anybody else? Any other suggestions or ideas?
Kind of Bradier maybe snaps out of it because he kind of was other places and realizes the topic of conversation, and he says, I believe our focus should be on research and development here. The expansion of either technology or magics. That is my pursuit.
Oh, Tyler's nailed 2 of the other charter trait scores. Indeed, technology and magic are their own little categories. I think Ezrand would back you up and say, I show you our religious advisor or healer here. He would love to see a temple built to Eloratu. And yeah, Kel's Deirdrick, to your point, Asher, she wants to start building condos as soon as possible, and she's not too quiet about it. And our not too quiet friend here, Mr. Tana, thinks we should start with a waste disposal center. The Karacha Lashenta kind of mumbles. She's like, yeah, it'd be a lot cleaner if we did that. Jamfram? Any ideas?
When Zilix finishes speaking, Jamfram will stand up and say, we have come to this new land to establish a colony for these good people. And, well, surely everyone would like to prosper. Let us not let our first instinct be profit over the well-being of these people. They need places to sleep, to live, to eat. They need places of community indeed, but places of life. I think we should build some housing, perhaps with a drum circle area out front.
Building on the Accord theme, yeah.
I assume housing is Accord. I don't know. I have no idea.
I think so. Yeah. The other one we haven't talked about is culture, and that is dedication of your charter and its people to arts and related fields such as religion and philosophy. I think Accord, you would be upgrading from like the ship's habitats to more permanent residential style buildings.
Yeah.
And people will love that.
Yeah, I'd grab an axe and I say, to the forest I go.
I'm building a cabin
trees.
right now.
I'm building cabins for one and all. They're very small cabins.
I mean, if
they're in the middle of a river.
If you do that right, okay, we got it.
That's where I live.
I'll see you guys later. I'm building my own house. As you'll either run to the forest to let your food get cold or start to dig in and think about these decisions and the future of the colony, there is a distress call that comes over the main line as you hear a panicked voice through bursts of static A message coming through your comms from the edge of the settlement. The voice saying, "To be continued." Whoa. No. You thought the first day was over, you foolish fools. How dare you? Never. No rest for the wicked, and doubly no rest for the PCs.
No rest for the level 1.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if I done
Attack of the Swarm all over again.
If I done some more damage with these stupid bugs, maybe, but no. Right, guys, I this has been the longest week between episodes 1 and 2. I've been waiting to get back into this story so bad, and now I wait another whole week for episode 3. It's killing me. It's already killing me, I can tell. How are you enjoying Horizons of the Vast thus far? We're 2 episodes in, 3 with episode 0.
I have no idea what's going on.
Feedback. I know you're really eager for feedback, but
I need to talk to someone. I need to talk to someone about it so bad. Well, I guess I should say, how you enjoying your guys' characters thus far?
I think it's a good mix.
I apologize that my voice is completely different from last week and will be completely different from next week.
It's a work in process. You're adjusting to the atmosphere here on the planet.
It's a character thing. Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
we've had like 2 full rounds of combat so far this season. That's about it, at least in these last 2 episodes. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode, everybody. Thank you guys for playing with me.
Well, thank
you, Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
Our listeners out there, thanks for listening, coming along with us on this ride. Let us know if you're enjoying this season so far. We have a Discord. You can join our Discord if you haven't already and talk about it in the episode spoilers channel. That's going to do it for this week. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time, Crittermanders, here on Cosmic Crit.
Goodbye. Bye-bye.
Good night. Yo ho.
You've been listening to Cosmic Crit, an officially licensed partner of Paizo Incorporated. The Starfinder role-playing game and adventure paths are trademarks of Paizo. All Pathfinder and Starfinder images are property of Paizo and are used with permission.